Let's stop pretending for a second. Weight loss is not confusing. It's not some mystery your body refuses to solve. Let's not talk about people who have some health issues. It's not something that only works for other people's while you are somehow different. The truth is much simpler than that and lot more uncomfortable. You already know what to do. Eat less, move more, stay consistent. That's it. And yet, you are not doing it. Not consistently, not long enough, not seriously enough. And that's where everything falls apart. Because the real problem was never information, it was never lack of knowledge, it was always your habits, your choices, your patterns that repeat every single day when no one is watching. You say you want to lose weight, but your actions say you want comfort more, and comfort is the reason you are stuck. You wake up with good intention, and you tell yourself, today I'm going to eat clean, and maybe you do for a few hours, maybe even for a day, but then something small happens. You get bored, you get stressed, you feel a craving, and suddenly the plan disappears. Not because it was impossible, but because it was inconvenient. That's the part no one wants to admit. Weight loss is not hard because it's complicated. It's hard because it requires you to say no to yourself, to your cravings, to your habits that feel good in the moment but cost you everything in the long run. And most people are not willing to do that. The way they want a version of weight loss that doesn't feel uncomfortable. They want result without hunger, without discipline, without change. They want to keep their same lifestyle and somehow be different or get different outcomes. That's not how this works. Your body reflects your habits, not your intentions. You can say you want to change all day, but if your daily actions doesn't match that goal, something will happen. Nothing can happen. Nothing will happen. And deep down, you know that. You know the late night snacking matters. You know that extra portions matters. You know skipping workouts matter. But instead of facing it, you look for something easier to blame. Slow metabolism, bad genetics, lack of time. But let's be honest, there are people with worse genetics, less time, and harder lives who still manage to change. So, what's the difference? They stop negotiating with themselves. That's the turning point. The moment you stop treating your goals like suggestions and start treating them like standards. Because right now, everything is optional for you. Workout, optional. Eating healthy, optional. Staying consistent, optional. And when everything is optional, quitting becomes easy. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is a feeling. It comes when you watch a video, when you feel inspired, and when you imagine better version of yourself. But feelings don't last, they fade. And when they fade, what's left in your habit? If your habits are weak, your progress will always reset. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask if you're tired or bored or stressed. It just says, do it anyways. And that's the mindset you need to build because weight loss is not one time effort. It's not something you do for a few weeks and then go back to normal. This is the new normal. That's another truth people avoid. You don't lose weight and then magically go back to your old lifestyle because your old lifestyle is what you got here. If you go back to it, you go back to the same results. So the real goal is not just losing weight, it's becoming someone who lives differently, someone who doesn't rely on food for comfort, someone who doesn't give up after a bad day, someone who shows up even when it's inconvenient. And that version of you, it builds slowly through repetition, through small, consistent actions that don't feel impressive in that moment. Walking every day, eating slightly less, saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It sounds simple and it is simple, but simple doesn't mean easy because you're not just fighting food, you're fighting habits you have built over months or years, patterns that feel automatic, reactions that happen without thinking. You don't just decide to change those overnight, there will be resistance, You will feel hungry sometimes, not because you need food, but because your body is used to more. You will feel cravings, not because you lack control, but because your brain is conditioned to expect certain rewards. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can give in like you always have, or you can pause, recognize what's happening, and choose differently. That's where change actually happens, not in the big dramatic moments, but in the small decisions no one sees. That the extra snack you didn't eat, the walk you took when you didn't feel like it, the workout you showed up for even at 50% energy. Those moments don't feel powerful at the time, but they add up day after day, week after week, and eventually they become your identity. That's when things shift. Not when the scale drops, not when you look different, but when your mindset changes. When disciplines feels normal, when consistency feels automatic, when quitting feels harder than continuing. That's real transformation. And here is another truth you need to hear. You are going to fail sometimes. You are going to overeat. You are going to skip workouts. You are going to have days where everything falls apart. That's not the problem. The problem is what you do after. Most people treat one bad day like a disaster. They think, I messed up, so what's the point? And then they quit completely. That's not failure, that's a choice. Because one bad day doesn't ruin your progress, but quitting does. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Can you have a bad meal and still make the next one better? Can you miss a workout and still show up the next day? That's the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means persistence. And persistence is built through honesty. You have to be honest with yourself about where you are and what you are doing, not in a harsh, self hating way, but in a real, accountable way. Because if you keep lying to yourself, nothing changes. If you keep saying, I barely eat while ignoring your habits, if you keep saying, I tried everything without real consistency, if you keep saying, I will start tomorrow over and over again, then tomorrow will look exactly like today. At some point, you have to decide that enough is enough, not in a dramatic way, not in a new year, new me way, but in a quite serious decision that you are done repeating the same cycle. No more starting over every Monday, no more waiting for motivation, no more excuses. Just action, small, consistent, daily action, because that's what actually works. And it won't feel exciting, it won't feel fast. There will be days where it feels like nothing is changing, but something is. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are rewiring your habit. Every time you stay consistent, you are building trust with yourself, and that trust matters. Because right now, the biggest problem is not your weight, it's the fact that you don't trust yourself to follow through. You have made promises to yourself before and broken them. You have said that this time will be different and gone back to the same habits. So, why would you believe yourself now? That's what you have to fix, not by saying more, but by doing more, by proving through your action that you can show up, that you can stay consistent, that you can finish what you started. Once you build that trust, everything changes. Because now it's not about forcing yourself anymore. It's about becoming someone who doesn't quit. And that version of you, it's already possible. It's not far away. It's not some perfect, unrealistic version. It's built from the choices you make today, right now. So the question is simple. Are you going to keep choosing comfort, or are you finally ready to choose change? Because both have a cost. Comfort feels good now, but it keeps you stuck. Change feels hard now, but it moves you forward. You don't get result without paying that price. You choose carefully. Because a year from now, you will either be in the same place making the same excuses, repeating the same patterns, or you will be stronger, more disciplined, more in control. Not because you found a secret, but because you finally did the basic consistency. That's it. No shortcut, no magic, no, just you doing the work every single day. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect moment. Start now, and this time don't stop.